Say. I have a question. Are Arsenal looking scary? Look, Arsenal at the weekend, they didn't play particularly well. We from an attacking point of view, but of course their fans are outraged at the VAR decisions. What was your take on Bruno Guimaraes not being sent off? The goal with 4 problems still standing, and then of course a lot of Arsenal fans also angry in the sense of being frustrated that the Arteta's got this wrong and he's deflecting away from the poor performance. How did you view that massive game on Saturday?
Let's establish the facts, Arsenal fans. Anybody that will go to St. James's Park will have a tough game. This is number one. You're not the only team that will go there, and even Liverpool were not the best team with 11 players. Arsenal didn't play well. You guys were not great, but that's not only down to you and your manager. It's down to Newcastle being very aggressive at their ground, being very good at their ground, playing for everything, the crowd rallying up their players and stuff. So just don't, I'm going to say that to Arsenal. I said on my show, don't panic yet. However, you got robbed because from the angles we saw, the ball went out. That's number one. That we're not going to talk about even anything else. We're not going to talk about the offside. The ball went out. And don't give me this Bean Sports show a video. The guys that sat at the VAR room did not have Bean Sports technology. They have the technology and they have the angles that we saw. So they saw the same angles that we saw. The ball was out. And they called it against Manchester United for the Hoyland goal against Brighton. We got to be consistent. I know people say it didn't go out. I believe you. We saw that Bean Sports virtual reality thing. But the people that sat at the VAR room saw the same angles. You want to sit here and tell me that the ball didn't go out? Is that what you want to say? The ball went out from the angles we saw. They were just scared to call it. And they said, because we didn't have the bird's eye view, we cannot judge it. You judge it on the angles you have. For the free kick, for the foul, the 2 hands at the back of Gabriel, for me, I play football and I'm telling you, you rolling a more or you ruling exaggerating on your fall doesn't make it less of a foul. 2 hands of Joe Linton was on the back of Gabriel. That's a fact. Now, nobody can tell me otherwise. This should be given as a free kick. I don't care what Gabriel was going to do. Gabriel was pushed. The 2 hands are there. The images are there. For the offside, we didn't see it. They didn't have the lines to draw it. 2 offenses there, clear as a day. Arteta has every right to be fuming. This was incompetence because they couldn't make the right decisions and they were scared. These 2 points can be a major effect of this 1 point can be a major effect of the title. It was a draw, worthy of a draw. Newcastle weren't great as well. If you want to sit here and tell me Newcastle were great, they weren't great. In my opinion, Arsenal weren't good as well, right? But again, it's simple as both teams nullified each other. Anybody, Manchester City tomorrow, if they go to Newcastle, I wouldn't call them heavy favorites. I would call them that, yes, they're going to have a tough game. Newcastle will have a chance to win. Newcastle already won against Manchester City at home. Anybody that will go to Newcastle will have a tough game. Newcastle have not conceded a goal in the Premier League at home since August. We are in November. They have not conceded a goal. So Arsenal, they tried. Arteta maybe got it wrong. Eddie Nketiah was a passenger. There's a lot of players that were not good. And also there was a lot of players that were very, very good. Declan Rice was very good as an 8 this game. Saliba and Gabriel, they were good this game, right? So you have to call him as it is. Arsenal fans, in my opinion, this game will be tough for everybody else. This league will be tight. This league wouldn't be as easy as last year. You will not be on 50 points after 19 games. It's going to be tough. Just don't panic. Your team is not playing well. We agree with you. I said that many times. Your team isn't as fluid as last year, but you still getting the points. I wouldn't, anybody that sits here and tell me that they were not robbed, you lie to yourself, and it's inconsistency because they called it for Man United and you saw the pictures and you know they got robbed. You know that goal should have been called off.
Yeah, I look at it this way. Take away all the things that they actually checked. The ball hit Joe Linton's arm, right? And one of the funniest things I heard was, well, Gabriel ducked down. He did duck down. And he ducked. Gary Neville, in his own explanation as to why it wasn't a foul, he ducked down because he tried to get under it and flick it up. He did this on camera. I went, yes. And why couldn't he get back up to flick it? Because Joe Linton had his hands on the back of his head. It's one of those things for me. This is where rivalry's got to be dropped. Your tribalism's got to be dropped. If any one of our teams conceded that goal, we would be doing what Arsenal were doing. When Liverpool spoke about replays and released their statement, when VAR broke its protocol, we would want all of our clubs to be coming out and speaking about this. Wolverhampton Wanderers, I mean, they're not getting the airtime because they're not as big a team, but 2 weeks running, they've conceded penalties for the opponents kicking the ground. Identical. 2 weeks running. And it should be trending news. And seeing these journalists and seeing these TV presenters laughing at Arsenal, laughing at Liverpool, laughing at Wolves, laughing at Man United when we say, hang on a minute, how comes, and people say that the ball going out for us wasn't the same as going out for Arsenal. I've seen 3 angles of Man United's ball going out of play. One looks conclusively like it's out. The other 2 look like it's in. The Arsenal, Newcastle angles, I've seen 4 angles on that one. 2 look in, 2 look out. Which means, based on the television angles available, it's inconclusive. But for Newcastle, you say it's inconclusive, so we're going to give it as in, on-field decision. In Man United, you say it's conclusively out. That's nonsense. That is an absolute nonsense. Yes, from certain angles, it looks like it's over the line, but we all know that you change that angle and things look different. You know, that's the thing for me that I find hugely frustrating about this situation is the inconsistency. Depending upon which team, and by the way, ladies and gentlemen, I've got a video dropping later. I'm not going to go into it on this. I don't want to ruin the content because I recorded it yesterday. I believe there's a genuine conspiracy. Not towards Arsenal, not towards United, not towards any particular team. All I'm going to say is Kardashians. And that's like an Easter egg for you. I'm just going to say Kim Kardashian. I'm going to say Towie. I'm going to say X Factor. That's all I'm saying. Watch the video that drops later. Because for me, listen, and this the bit that annoys me, though, and I will say this, there's 2 things where I'll call Arsenal out, though. 1, stop having a go at Newcastle. It's not Newcastle's fault. Genuinely, it isn't their fault. Newcastle didn't pay the refs. Newcastle haven't cheated you. Newcastle have done nothing wrong. Second thing is when you benefit from one of these decisions next time, you can't be defending the referees. You've got to also call them out. Self-policing in any industry, in any walk of life works. It absolutely does. You know, I have to discipline my children. It isn't anybody else's job to do that. Not the school. School will do it, but it's not the school's job. It's not the childminder's job. It's my job. When it comes to football, we're fans. We've got a job to call out things that are wrong, and even if they benefit us, even if we know they're damaging to, if they benefit us but damage football, our club should be calling it out, even if we benefit, but it's damaging to football. We are a big part of this problem as well because we allow the mistakes to kind of go unchallenged. Because look what's happening with Arsenal. I think 95% of football is enjoying it. They're laughing at it. So what does that make the referees and the Premier League and the TV companies do? They want more of it, don't they? Because it makes more drama.
Yeah, of course.
Steve here, I did put a funny super chat and he says, Arsenal robbed their fans of attacking quality.
That's besides the point, Steve. That's besides the point. We can talk about the football now because in my opinion, they were robbed. The game should have been a draw, in my opinion, based on what I saw. Let's talk about the football now. And how Arsenal played, yeah, you were not great. You're still not fluid. You're not creating enough chances. Bukayo Saka people are doubling on him. Martinelli is not playing well. Your lack of a good backup for Gabriel Jesus is showing now. Not replacing Xhaka is hurting your team. Odegaard is injured now, but he wasn't playing great. Kai Havertz, I think that's the mistake that might cost you the title if you don't correct it in January. I believe the lack of 8 is hurting your team. The lack of a great number 8. I don't believe Declan Rice is that guy. Declan Rice is one of the best 6s in the league. He's playing a DM. He's absolutely great. I don't know why he wants to shoehorn him at the 8 as well because he doesn't have anybody else. Is Arteta panicking? I don't think so. He's still 3 points behind City or 2 points behind City, if I'm not mistaken. 3 points behind Manchester City. Don't panic yet. There is still room to improve. Yes, the football may be, you'd say, unsustainable, but we saw the same team play very fluid football last year. Yes, we said you're not fluid this year. We're not creating enough chances. It can be fixed. We are in November. If you were 10, 15 points behind Manchester City, I would tell you, yes, you should panic. If you were 8, 9 points, I'll say, yes. You lost one game away at Newcastle where you were robbed in that game, where you nullified Newcastle's attack as well, which is one of the best in the division. So your defense is good. Same as Liverpool's offense is very good, and their defense is suspect a little bit sometimes. So you got to look at it both ways. Don't only criticize the offensive side of your game, also stay as it is. The defensive side might win you the games, might keep you there until January. You have to say, people tell me, but the owners are not going to back my manager. Well, they did in the summer. Didn't they? You asked for over 100 million players. They got you. Timber got injured, unlucky, right? In last January transfer window, they went for a Modric, who was at that time a good prospect. Don't give me the energy. Modric now is not great. Yeah, he's not great now. At that time, he was one of the good prospects. The recent history showed that your owners now, they back the manager. You go into January, you get an Ivan Toney to back Gabriel Jesus. You get an 8, you're up there again. I think you're going to be scary again. I think you're going to be good again. I said that many times this season. You're not fluid, yes, but it's salvageable. You can save it.
Yeah, it certainly is. We've got some super chats here I want to go to. First one says, I know what you are hinting at. Terry, I know what you're hinting at. I said it after the match on the show too. Another Easter egg. Absolutely. Chilmo, Newcastle have only beaten City twice at home in 18 years in the league.
But Arsenal this year beat City for the first time in 8 years. And this Newcastle team is different than the one that played in the last 18 years. Just 2 years ago, Newcastle were bottom of the league. They were called, oh, they're relegated already. Look at them now. So this is a fact, yes, but it doesn't change the fact that everybody that will go to Newcastle, any big team, including the Real Madrids, the Bayern Munich, will have a tough time if they go far in the Champions League.
Yeah.
You can't just sit here and tell me otherwise. This is not, I won't believe it.
Strasbourg Steve also says it was a Diego Simeone-esque win, physical, nasty, grind out somehow, some way. Proud of the boys. And yeah, Newcastle fans should be happy. It's an important win. The 3 points are there and they're not being taken away. I get that. When it went Arsenal's favour against Spurs, he said it's VAR. We just have to live with it until it goes against you. VAR is a disgrace. I thought I agree. That's where I completely agree with you. That is where I think Arteta has made himself look a little bit silly, is by when he benefited saying, you've just got to. He just said that you've just. Sorry, I'm just reading something real quick. Sorry.
Yeah, I just wanted to comment on this because I saw the super chat. To be honest with you, VAR made decisions in both ways. It's not Newcastle's fault. When Arsenal benefits from a decision, yeah, it went their way. Yesterday, a couple of days ago, Bruno Guimaraes should have been sent off, in my opinion, for that elbow or hand or whatever in the back of Jorginho's head. In my opinion, VAR will do mistakes, will make mistakes, will get things wrong. You have to live with it. Arsenal fans saying that there is an agenda against us from VAR, that's not true, because you haven't had something against you like the one that Liverpool had against them.
No, I agree. This here says Newcastle had about 0.2 XG outside the goal. Yeah, both teams stopped each other's attacks the whole game. It's true. Arsenal robbed themselves. A supposed title challenger should still be good enough to win that match regardless. It's deflection.
Wrong.
What I find interesting about deflection is that I think the manager deflecting is a good thing. It's really weird because as a United fan who had the greatest manager in Premier League history at deflecting when things went wrong, when we were bad, when we got beat 6-1 by City, which was a much worse result, by the way, at home, he did a media blackout for 3 days, which is actually against the rules of the Premier League. You're not allowed to refuse to speak to the media, certain media. And he did it. And it all became about Fergie not talking to the media. And nobody was talking about the poor performance. Came out next game, won the match, spoke to the media, moved on. It was a way of playing things down. It's some gooners are so angry the manager done this. It's like, well, he's not going to call out his performances publicly. He's going to do it this way.